from Florida is recognized.
Well, thank you both Ranking Member Brown of the Rail Subcommittee, who's leading this legislation on the floor tonight, and Chairman Petri, the Chairman of the Aviation Subcommittee, for your leadership, and also directing in a bipartisan manner this legislation that we've brought forth from our committee with very, very strong support, members again from both sides of the aisle. I know that there are some folks that have raised some concerns, and I'll address them, but very simply what is taking place here is that the European Union is trying to impose in January an emissions tax, an air emissions tax, and they're going to start the clock running. They want to start it running January 1st. The meter will start, and American Airlines will get the bill in 2013. Now, you heard some comments here that we don't want folks to follow the law or operating, and there was an example of double hull ships operating in U.S. waters. Well, we're not talking about anything that's even similar to what's being proposed here. What they're proposing is, say, from Los Angeles or Chicago or New York, anywhere in the United States to anywhere in the European Union, the tax and the meter starts running the minute the plane departs from any point in the United States till it reaches Europe. And the same thing when it departs Europe back to the United States. Not only does this violate international treaties, the Chicago Convention, we've never had anything like this imposed or proposed before. It is not flexible. We heard the term used, it's flexible. It's not flexible. The other thing, too, is we're trying to work with others and work with the European Union. And many states have now joined the United States. In fact, they've taken the lead on some of this, both in a conference in New Delhi and in meetings in Oslo. And they said this is unfair. So it's not just the United States that's saying this is unfair. Now, if the European Union chooses to impose a tax within its boundaries, or like if we say within our waters you do certain things, like double hull if you want that ship to go there, that's fine with us. If they want to improve emissions in their airspace, that's fine with us. But that's not what they're doing here, and that's why we have this opposition. The second point is, if you really care, and I don't want to get into the climate debate, but if you really care about eliminating emissions, and I know the airlines do, because the more emissions they eliminate and the more they can conserve fuel, that's their bottom line, and it's very important to them. But that being said, again, one of the most important points of all of this is that, again, this money that they're collecting, and it's a tax grab by the European Union, that this money that they're getting doesn't necessarily have to go into, there's no requirement that goes into eliminating emissions from aircraft. In fact, they told us that you can buy your way out, or you can buy some other trade for some other industry. So it doesn't set out to do what, again, is being forecast or demonstrated. In fact, they're very unclear as to how this will be totally instituted. There's what's called an Article 25 provision within their current law, and this is, as I've checked, October, almost the end of October. This goes into effect in January, and they can't tell us, they couldn't tell us on Friday, and they couldn't tell us here in the United States or in Brussels what the provisions of Article 25 and exactly how they will implement this. So I think that what will happen here is we send a strong message. Yes, we're for protecting the environment. We have no problems with the European Union taking measures within their borders, and our airlines should comply and other carriers should comply, both departing and arriving. They can do that. But when you stop and think that this would impose a European tax over the skies of the United States, never heard of anything like that before. So again, we are willing to work with our European counterparts. We believe that November 2nd, we were informed that when we were in Montreal meeting with ICAO representatives, that this will be brought up before that international body, that's the International Civil Aviation Organization, that sets all the protocols, the standards, security, safety provisions. And we will win in that body a legitimate vote by a very wide margin. The Europeans will be left behind on this issue. But we all want to work with them. They're our friends. This shouldn't lead to a trade war. It should lead to a resolution that does improve our environment, that does allow the European Union to do what they need to do, and also that if we're going to impose this, that we have some understanding of how we can do better in reducing air emissions. I yield back the balance of my time.